Hi. Let's see. Bring in a purification of light. Sorry. Awayayana karauna shayana ninalisa karauna shayana rao yayana karauna sayayan yayi ashayayana wow ma wow. Awayayana karauna shayana karauna karauna zono wayayana wow. Zena wa baba yana wa ma baba ye. Zeno baba ye o ma ba ye na wa wo. Zena yana faye na karao na haleluya ma wa. Yana nani na lisa karao no baba wa. Awa yana karao na shaya na karao na tawa baba yene. Awa yana karao na sata apa yana karao aba awum. Those of you who seek guidance, seeking messages, I'm ready. Do ask. If you're seeking guidance or a message, you are seeking some sort of divine intervention, you can ask for guidance. Offerings are accepted. That's very beautiful. If not, please share, and I'd be happy to give you a message. I've been loving these bell peppers. I just did that. Okay, so card says, open like a lotus. The number 25, which is 7. So it's the relationship experiences for positive changes. And together, It brings about a feeling of peacefulness integratively together. Open like the lotus, so flowering spirit, revolution, and maturity in the journey. The next one is another reminder of the seven, the tree of illumination. Whoa. So acknowledging what that represents with you and with your loved ones. So when we have the tree of illumination, it's the tree of life. So if you know about the Sophia or Shekinah in the Hebrew paths, you comprehend what. Oh, my guitar is still singing. Maybe I can play while I communicate. You comprehend what Shekinah represents. I'm just kidding. Yeah. So you represent what? No, you comprehend what Shekinah represents. So it's the divine womb being of creation. You know God. Well, there's also a goddess. So it's like a father and a mother. That's an integration. And so comprehending that, so what we're reaching is peaks of communication with divine, core essence of the integration. So many of you pray to God. How many of you actually pray to Goddess? You know, with that comprehension, does the egg come before the womb? Not likely. That's why we were created in these ways. They say that we were created in God's likeness. So obviously, you know, being that we are creators, beings who have wombs, you'd imagine that God would have a womb if we're created in God's likenesses. And how does creation get birthed out of a penis, you know? So we each have our own sacred vibes and intentions and awarenesses and clarities based on our comprehensions. But to be honest, you know, if you can read Sanskrit, you could comprehend that Shekinah is the Holy Spirit. So it's part of Christ. It's the mother of Christ. And there's a lot of integrations with that. What we're working with right now is an acceptance to the degrees of worth. So how much do you feel worthy? How much are you willing to fight for yourself and your loved ones? When I say fight, I'm not saying go toe to toe with your fist up. I'm saying come heart to heart with the integration to be able to heal and experience transformations with your relationship. So if they're not healthy, if they're unhealthy, if you've already tried that, you should stop trying. If they don't work out like that, you should just comprehend it. Just see it as a lesson and find a solution, which is removal. And then pray for attracting the ones who are supposed to be near you and with you, who can love you, who you can love, who are safe to be in your energy bubble, who are not going to stab you in the back or make you regret ever knowing them. You know, we want to attract the ones who are supposed to have next to us. And how do we do that? By removing the ones that are not supposed to be there in those ways. It's like siphoning. You want to siphon through, you know, if you're in outer Mongolia, you'd have to siphon through the rice to get rid of the worms. With our diets here in California or other places, we have to siphon through the food to figure out what's actually good for us and what's not good for us, or even the friends. Who's actually supposed to be there, who's not. Relationships, are you supposed to be with that guy? Should you be married to that thing? What are you doing? You know, really feeling into that. Why are you there if you don't love each other in the same way? What is it that you're doing in that relationship, and why? When you could be free to discover and rediscover who you are as a soul and why you exist. Why waste your moments being told who you're supposed to be and what you're supposed to be when you got to be you? We all are birthed with these beautiful gifts and abilities that we're supposed to have to be the best way that we are supposed to be. Do not waste your moments throwing your seeds upon those who don't even eat seeds. They just eat carcasses that are dead. You know, like comprehend what you're doing. Okay, enough said. So the cards that I pulled in this moment are stay strong in faith. Believe without seeing it first. Believe and receive that it is possible. Work with the intuition. Work with the divine knowledge that's already there. Common sense. What's that? You got to work with what the natural ningle is. In the UK, we call it a ningle. It's when we feel it in our center. The center is where our emotions are. That's why the intestines are usually affected by the emotions. So say you're around children, they say they have a tummy ache. Well, did they just get bullied at school? Probably. That's why they have a tummy ache. You go through stress or anything complicated, and you're waking to before between waking and resting, and you get a tummy ache. What's that tummy ache from? I give you one guess. Emotions, intestinal emotions. You've got to be positive in the movements forward. So the way you're going to prevent the tummy aches, prevent the unneeded stress, is by remaining positive. Get that vision board, that dream board in your consciousness. You can't walk around with that. You can't be walking around with a big dream board everywhere you go. A vision board, like, hey, I got this right here. Okay. You got to be able to visualize it, see it, feel it, and embrace that. Because when you see and envision and feel into that dream board, into that vision board, into that goal-oriented perception, then you see beyond the limitations, beyond the expectations of others. You see into what you actually need in your reality to take care of things. You can't just be there just aloof dreaming on things that you cannot do. That's not even part of your journey. But when you dream on what you believe in and what you feel is the way to do things, what you know, what you've seen, what you've experienced is the solutions. And honey, there's a whole rainbow of facts right there in front of you. So start taking action into the movement forward to stay strong, to believe, to remain positive, and do not doubt your self-worth. Do not doubt your self-worth. Regain the acceptance of self-worth. What does that say? Removing the cords of persecution, removing the past traumas. Don't forget about it. Acknowledge the lesson in the experience, but remove that energy from the heart. Remove that energy from the mind and from the conscious and from the choices and the reactions. Heal through it so much that it doesn't cause a reaction, that it causes action. You see something going on that reminds you of something from the past? You could save someone's life. Say something about it, just so you know. Give some advice. Don't let it be for nothing that you suffered. But when you get to the point where you can completely trust, believe, and have confidence that positive solutions are present, then, darling, comes the orchestration. Let us paint this picture of positive solutions, integrations into the expansions of beingness. You wake up, you should be orchestrating and creating. Dun, 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 dun. When I wake up, I bring in light. I put light into my vessel. I bring in pure intentions to heal and save creations, as well as myself and my children's, my womb's blessings. And I expand that light outwards. I visualize what I need to take care of. And I do that from the moment that I wake till before I go to bed. Why? Because we must be beings of action. It's beautiful to rest, but it's also beautiful to be functional. And if you're sleeping through your experience and you're not doing what you're here for, you wake up and you're like, oh, I must be here for a purpose. I have all of these ideas. What good are those ideas? What ideas do you have that are so brilliant that you're not sharing them? You need to start sharing them. You're over there doing TikTok videos, all kinds of different kinds of songs that have nothing to do with your soul path. It really doesn't help your self-worth. It just makes you look like you listen to garbage music, to be honest with you. You know, you want to be some sort of role model for your children, then you need to start focusing on what you're putting out there. Why would you do TikToks that are about having sex and doing drugs and drinking alcohol when you have children who need to look up to you? You know, I'm a parent, and my children watch what I do. They've always watched what I do, what I put out there. I have to be very careful. My morals are high. Yes. I see giving birth as a responsibility to our children, to be the best we that we can possibly be. Once you give birth to that child, it's not, oh, sweet, I gave birth, now I could drink and I could do drugs and I could party. No, now you can breastfeed. Now you can learn how to provide for your family, because that husband may not always be there for you. You cannot rely on some spouse or some mate to be there for you in those moments that you may need them. Honey, once that divorce happens, do you know what happens to you, you housewives? You need to get a job. You need to find something good that you're good at. House husbands, whoever you are, you need to find something that you could do to provide for your families, to support your families, and to be legitimately strong in the ways that you can be. You cannot be reliant on somebody else to be there for you always. We have to put it in for ourselves to be the strongest way we can be. And I'm speaking to you parents right now, because our children need us to be role models. Please stop TikToking, crunching up against the wall, humping the wall, dressing all sexy, doing naughty things. There's children watching those videos. You know what I'm saying? Going to church, acting like you're all holy, talking about preaching against somebody and casting out demons, but you're over there playing that music and doing that stuff. You know, when we preach, when we communicate with others, when we talk to others directly, we have to take action on what we're talking about. We have to actually practice what we are speaking about, what we are teaching about, what we are guiding about. Really. And be of light and be of love, but also be of patience. Not only patience with ourselves, but patience with the other ones that we have to work with. I work with all kinds of types of beings, from a rainbow of all sorts. And I don't even want to get in on it. But let me tell you this. Each and every single soul that I've had to work with so far are all healing through trials and tribulations from their traumas growing up into adults that they did not get the proper help and care for. They buried their devastation. They buried their pain. They buried their woes. And then they had a false perception of what they saw as their reality, thinking that it was about them and only about them, when it really has to do with the whole collective, seeing the picture way bigger than the small picture. It's not just about you, honey. It's about all of us. Everyone in your family you've done give birth, everyone that you done give birth to, every relationship that you gave birth to with those children. You can't just cut them off because they're not being responsible as parents. We have to find a way to integrate and find a solution through all of this. The more of you that fight tooth and nail against the process and the progress of healing, the more of you it's going to take you to have to fight tooth and nail to get back onto your feet. You need to accept the reality. You need to heal. You need to change. You need to be the best you that you can possibly be, and you need to stop failing yourselves. I have to stop failing myself by allowing myself to not put myself first in every situation. Each of us do that in certain ways. How do you fail yourself? Who are you putting before yourself? Me, I've chosen my children. I've chosen all creation to save, and myself. But I've chosen not to have somebody straight up in a relationship with me in my home with my children, because my children come before a relationship with somebody else coming from the outside. Why? Because I gave birth to them. And that's the way that I see it. I love all creation, but I'm not going to put a spouse or a boyfriend or some other relationship over my children, because they are part of me. And each of you should put your children that high. Each of you who have family and loved ones who rely on you, you should actually acknowledge that they're looking up to you for help, for saving. And when you're put into that position, don't take advantage of it. See that as a reality. See that as something that has to happen, and embrace that. Embrace that opportunity to be so on that level, to be able to provide for them in that way, See, that's a huge thing, to be able to provide for our loved ones in those ways. It says that we have been doing our work fervently, unconditionally loving our loved ones that we are responsible for. When we are able to be responsible for us, we succeed greater at being responsible for others. So how responsible are you for yourselves? Those of you who want to get married, oh, let's have children. Yeah, try and grow some plants first. Okay, get a puppy. But don't just rush into giving birth to children because, oh, you love each other. Oh, we're great in bed, let's do this. No. Take some moments to get to know each other before you have intimacy in bed together. Before you ever do that, just try your hardest to not do that. Don't rush in. My advice to you is don't rush in. I got married at 18. Don't rush in. I don't regret it. I love my children. I love my ex-husband, but don't rush in. Because as souls, we must identify who we are and comprehend our relationships and integrations with our partners. We have to. And the way that we do that is by not having sex in the beginning. Just don't do it. Don't be intimate in that way. Get to know each other as friends, as best friends, as loved ones. But try your hardest to not have sexual intercourse in your marriages either. If your marriage is suffering, try to love each other as best friends, as loved ones, and then reintegrate the intimacy, because intimacy is over 40% important when it comes to intimacy. You have to have, love is over 40% important to have intimacy with somebody else. If you don't love them, then it's not as likely for you to peak or orgasm in those ways with them. And when we climax, it creates a healing vibration within creation. The frequencies that emit from a united orgasm is very divine and very sacred. But that comes from loving each other. And that's really important also. That's something else I suggest. Don't be intimate with each other if you don't love each other. If you don't actually love each other, you have to love each other. Because why else energetically intertwine if you don't love each other? Even if it's just like an itch, you just want to have sex, like it's just an itch. Don't do that to yourselves. You don't even know what you're getting yourselves into energetically. Do you know how sensitive you are becoming as souls, as beings? Where have they been? Who have they been with? Who are you with now by being with them? Just being more careful and more aware, more alert, and more in tune with what is happening than you have been. Okay, I'm going to pull like 5 cards. Oh, my legs. In honor of Lovey, I'm wearing the cat clothes and this new tiger. Here, tiger. 13 moons of tiger energy is what they're saying in China and here in other places who honor those paths. Okay, so it shows this is not the moment to start a new relationship. Shows you have to work on growing the light within with the oneness integration of the spiritual experiences. That says all of the experiences and how that affects you spiritually, emotionally, and psychologically. Shows that the reason that you have to take moments away from other relationships is because of the disharmony. You have to work on yourself. It shows that you're not being silent through your suffering, so that is also going to help push those beings away. You're no longer discontent or bored because you've managed to start separating yourself, and it does show a separation. So those of you who are looking at relationship questions in this moment, when I just said that, you hear it. Thank you. Oh, thank you, Christian. Oh, we are all loved ones. The next card says that you have to go into solitude to seek the true destiny that is within. So when we're talking about solitude, hi, Brooke. Thank you for being present. When we're talking about solitude, we're looking at hermetism or the Hierophant. So somebody who's in deep meditation, deep prayer, deep expansions, and expansionally in tune with the awareness of what's happening in a sensitive yet delicate way. Shows it's not going to be a new beginnings. It's as if there's nobody there to tell you that you can't heal as deeply as you need to. So this says it's worse than having a Band-Aid ripped off. It's like having somebody reach inside of you and pull out all the nasty stuff, and there's just a gaping hole there. So that gaping hole needs to be filled in with light. So I'm going to sing in some frequencies for those who need to have the gaping hole filled in with light. Ready? I'm going to put on this music in the background. Prayerfully, it sounds beautiful. Yay, it does. Lots of visions. Beautiful love and light expansions. Beautiful light expansion. Sha, shoo, 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 shoo. Beautiful purifications of light. Those of you who would like to have a card or an intuitive message, you're welcome to ask me right now. I am going to be having to see you another day. I'm going to be very busy, so I'll be coming on video from the shop that I'll be working at tomorrow in Brentwood. That is the shop I'll be working out of now. I'm really excited. Monday through Fridays, and I'm so excited. Or Monday through Sundays, we'll see. I believe weekends I have to be with my children also after school and such, but during the aim I'll be there, and I'm so excited to see you, and I love you. I love you. Take care, my beautiful family. Hashem. Unify, integrate, don't segregate. Make sure you have the ones around you who you need to have around you. Be loved.